and I thought it would be for... Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another requested mukbang. I just want to thank you guys so much for requesting certain foods and just commenting nice things on my videos. I just really appreciate it. You guys just keep warming my heart with all these kind comments, and it really means a lot to me, so thank you. So I got a request to do black bean noodles and kimchi. I found some vegan black bean noodles, or jjajangmyeon, and then some vegan kimchi, and then I also have some vegan rice cakes, or tteokbokki, I think that's what they're called. I've been wanting to try every single one of these for a really long time, and so I'm super excited to finally be trying them for this video. My dad has actually had kimchi before, and so has my sister, and they both said that they really like it. It's basically like a Korean version of sauerkraut, and I've had sauerkraut before and I love sauerkraut, so I thought it would be perfect for this video to do my part 2 China story time. If you haven't seen my first China story time video, I will link it down below. I just explained why I went to China and how we felt moving there and just like our first few years there, so you don't really need to see that one in order for this one to make sense, but I would highly recommend seeing that one because it's good. So yeah, I'm actually gonna start with some rice cakes first. I'm super excited. Oh my gosh, these smell really good too. Okay. They're super chewy. I don't know if that's because I didn't cook them long enough. I mean, I cooked them as long as the package said to. But the flavor is really good. The sauce has like a mild spiciness to it, and there's a slight sweetness to it as well. It's really good. I was also going to get some red bean buns and mantos because I used to eat those all the time when I lived in China. But I wasn't able to get them, unfortunately, but that's okay because this is really good too. Hopefully I'll be able to get some for mukbang in the future or something, because that would be really fun. Alright, I'm going to try some of the kimchi now. Definitely tastes like sauerkraut, but it is different. Okay, last but not least, I'm so excited for these black bean noodles. I've heard so many good things about black bean noodles. So, also their name is just so cute. Jjajangmyeon. Jjajangmyeon. So they're Korean. This one is Korean, but in China, my dad told me you say it jjajangmyeon or something like that. It's really cool. I love the different inflections and like sounds in different Asian cultures. I love it so much. All right. Big bite. What? That is so good. This is also kind of sweet. I don't know how to explain the flavor because it's not like black beans at all. Is this a black bean? I don't know what that is, but it's good. Alright, so I said in my first story time that I would split it up through the 3 different apartments we lived in. So part 2 is our second apartment. I think we lived in our first apartment for about 3 years, maybe 2.5, and then we moved to our second apartment. So our second apartment, I remember so vividly walking into the building and going up to our floor, and it smelled like paint, but I really liked how it smelled. And I just remember the feeling I got. I was so excited to be getting a new house. Just, you know, I don't know. I feel like for kids, it's always really fun to see new houses and live in new houses. I don't know. I thought it was really fun to be able to live in different layouts of apartment buildings and stuff. So we went in, and this apartment had a spiral staircase to a second floor, which we'd never had before. And it had these cool like lights in the living room that kind of spiraled around. They didn't work, but they were cool. And then in one of the rooms there was a light that had a blue, yellow, and red light, and it was like twisted in an artsy way. And in the kitchen there were high chairs you could sit in. They were really high up, and I thought that was so cool. It was like my dream house as a kid, like the spiral staircase and everything. I was so excited to be moving there. So the spiral staircase was probably my favorite part, the thing I was most excited about. And my sisters ended up staying in the room that it led to, but they would never really let me go up there. I mean, okay, I went up there a few times, but they were always very particular about when they let me up there. But I thought that it was so cool. And near this apartment, there was this little store near our complex. It was called the Marché. It had so many fun things. They had red bean buns and Montos, and that's where we would always get our Montos, and ice cream cones, and just all these fun little different treats. And they also had high chews. So that was the very first place that I'd ever seen high chews. I swear China had high chews before here, because when we moved back to America, they didn't have high chews. I always tell people, I'm like, high chews? Yeah, they're a Chinese thing. I mean, they originated in Japan, but they're a Chinese thing. And they also had some imported stuff like Dove chocolate. They had some of those, and I loved those. There was one time, oh my gosh, so we would get allowance from our parents at the time, and there was one time I had money, and my mom's like, you better not go spend that money, you need to save it. And I was like, oh, okay, Mom. The next morning I get up and I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna go on a run. Mind you, I was like 8, 9. I didn't run. So what I did, I went out and I went to the store and I bought 2 Dove chocolates, 1 milk, 1 white chocolate. And I ate the whole white chocolate on the way home, and then I hid the other one above the fridge and then ate it like an hour later. It was just such a treat for me though, because my mom would never buy stuff like that. So I was always so excited to go down to the store and buy Skittles or different things like that. This is so good. Definitely would get this again. And the texture of the noodles is really nice too. So in our second apartment is also when we started going to this science museum that was pretty close to our house. And we ended up getting like memberships there, I think, later on. But this science museum was the coolest thing. There was a room called the Crazy Room. I don't remember, but it had all these crazy things. There were these seats you could sit in and pull yourself up through a rope, and there were 2 next to each other so you could race with people. There was this tube that would light up, but when you run through, you feel like you're turning as you're running through it. There was a bike on a rope you could bike across. like optical illusions, things like that. So cool. There was one room called the slanted room, where when you go in, it's all slanted, and there's an image of like a ship sinking, which was terrifying to me, but it would make you feel like you're, you know, sinking. It was so cool. And when you first go in, oh my goodness, this was my favorite part. When you first go into the Science Museum, the first thing you get to is an area that shows all sorts of animals. They were fake, but they looked really real, so I always thought they were going to come alive and eat me. But it was so cool. You could learn about them, and then when you keep going in, there's a forest area, and sometimes they would have thunder sounds going off and like little spritzes of water and mist and stuff. It was so cool. That was one of my favorite parts, and it'd have nice jungle music playing, and you could learn about creatures living in there. It was one of my favorite parts of the Science Museum. So because we were homeschooled, our mom would take us to the Science Museum for some of our school, which was the coolest thing. Like, I want to go to a museum for school. This kimchi is really good. There was an option to get spicy or mild. I decided to get mild because I wanted to get the OG taste of the kimchi, so. This is so good. Also, in this neighborhood we lived in, there were lots of ponds, and in a lot of these ponds there were tadpoles, and these tadpoles would turn into little baby frogs. They were the cutest thing. They're probably the size of my pinky. That's the smallest they would get, but they were so cute. We would always try and catch these little frogs in certain areas near the water, and then we'd try and take them home and keep them as pets. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun, and the turtles and the frogs were so cute. That was one of my favorite things to do. But they would only be out during certain periods of the year. So we would have like a point in time where we couldn't go out and catch them, which was sad. But then when frog season came around, we would go and get the frogs. It's a fun memory to have. There was also this area that had stray cats, and one of them my sister named Golden Flower. And so Golden Flower was she a tabby? The color of her fur was golden. And my sister was really into warriors at the time, so that's why she was super into cats. And so that's why she named it Golden Flower, because I think that stemmed from her liking for warriors, which is a book series if you don't know. But then Golden Flower ended up having babies, and these baby kittens were so cute. They were little teeny baby white kittens that I think one of them had 2 different colored eyes. They were so cute, and we could pet them like they were stray cats, but the mother didn't attack us. Like, she was the sweetest cat, and so we could pet her little kittens, and we would always go out and try to find Golden Flower. Oh my goodness, so many good memories. There was one time that my cousins came to visit. We were in an area, it was like more of the city area, and we weren't near any bathrooms, and I really had to pee. I remember this so vividly because of how badly I had to pee. It was probably one of the times that I've had to pee the most in my entire life. And so I was super stressed to find a bathroom, and we finally did, but it was a squatty. So in China, a lot of the toilets are in the ground because they squat when they go to the bathroom. So if you ever see shoe marks on the toilet, that's all I'm gonna say. It was a squatty toilet, and I hated squatty toilets. I could not use them for the life of me, but I had to, and I got my pee out, and it was fine. Sorry, TMI, but I just remember that. And it was a really scary but interesting experience. I think this is one of my new favorite dishes. This is so good. Bless you! My brother just sneezed. The combo of the black bean noodles and the kimchi is really good because the black bean noodles are super good and sweet, but the kimchi is like kind of refreshing in a way. I don't know. It's really good. So I think that in this apartment is when my sisters and I started taking kung fu classes. Our teacher, his name is Master Sky, and he was literally the funnest guy ever. He was so sweet. Maylee and I will always quote him. Every time we got hurt, he would go, ooh, because there's not really anything he can do about it. But Maylee and I will quote him a lot of the time now. We're just always like, if someone gets hurt, we're like, ooh. But in Kung Fu, we learned just like the basic punching and stuff, and we do these fun warm-ups, and we even had our own like cool black and red outfits. Oh my gosh. I need to find one of those. Maybe I should wear it my next China story time. I don't even know if I fit in it. What the heck? Oh, and there was also this noodle place that we lived by, and you could watch them make the noodles there. Like, they would make the noodles in front of you, and it was so cool to watch because they were very skilled. And so they would like have this thick piece of dough, but then they would like sling it around so it would get thinner and thinner, and then they'd wrap it around so they would make a bunch of different ones. And it was so cool that you got to watch them make the dough of the noodles right there in front of you, and then they would cook them, and then they would bring out your noodle soup. It was so much fun. It was probably one of my favorite things to watch. Although I really did enjoy watching them make dumplings, they would do that too in front of you at the same noodle place you would always go to. And a few of the times when my brother and I would sit there and watch, they would let us join in and help them. I said that in a previous video before, but it was so fun to help them make dumplings, and they were so sweet. Oh my goodness. This is so good. I love trying new food. It is one of the funnest things I could ever do in my entire life. Some of these are softer than the others, so yeah, I didn't evenly cook these. They're still really good, but now I know for next time to make sure I cook them long enough. Yeah, because these ones are pretty soft, but then this one and these ones are kind of tough. They're still good. They're still edible and delicious. I also just love the names of these things, like jjajangmyeon and tteokbokki. Like, the sauce is so good. I don't know if I'd get those again. I definitely get the black bean noodle again. And the kimchi. The kimchi was pretty bomb too. It's just kind of expensive. I almost didn't get it. I went to the store yesterday and they didn't have it because it was on sale, and so it was all sold out. So we went to another store this morning and they had it, so I was really relieved. So that's pretty much all for part 2. There is so much more, but it's almost too much to get into, if you know what I mean. So I can have other videos where I talk more about, or into detail about things that we did. If you want to see that, let me know. I pretty much got the gist of things in our second apartment. And yeah, so if you want to see a part 3 also, let me know. I'm gonna do it anyway, but let me know. Alright, this is gonna be my last bite. Alright guys, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed the story times. I really enjoyed the food. Thank you so much for requesting videos and different foods to try. I really, really appreciate it. It's so much fun for me, and I'm just loving all your support, so I really, really appreciate it. I don't know how to express how much I appreciate it, but I do. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.